This is BBC One.
Let's see. Come on. Anyway, hard to believe that it's been a year since I actually sat here and talked about Doctor Who, but here we are again, and things have changed. Yeah, I've got a scarf now, I got a hat, and I have a sort of semi-working sonic screwdriver. But in any case, I'm back here. It is November 23rd, which is Doctor Who Day. Now, last year, if you remember, I talked about the 50th anniversary episode, Day of the Doctor. However, in this case now, we're going to be talking about an episode that is actually 50 years old, and that is the episode Genesis of the Daleks. So now, this is the interesting part of this. When I was a kid, Tom Baker, it was the Tom Baker era that was my era of Doctor Who. I grew up with Tom Baker as Doctor Who. So it's always been, Galadriel, what you doing? Anyway, you might see a little nose pop up every once in a while. Who knows? That's Galadriel. That's my companion, I guess you could say, in any case. So there you go. So yes, Doctor Who and the 50th anniversary episode of the Genesis of the Daleks. And this episode is very interesting because we all know that the Daleks were first introduced in the very first series of Doctor Who. Okay. See, this is my companion. This is Galadriel, and she's walking on my console. And I do not need her walking on my console during the show. So you need to find a better place. You want to stay here while I do the show? You want to stay here? No, you don't. This is an episode kind of with a philosophical debate, with an almost It's a Wonderful Life kind of an approach, where the idea is that you're looking at, and I'm going to lose the hat because, it's not the right era. So I'm going to put that over there. So it's a Wonderful Life. And the whole idea is that the thing is, if you go back and change something, should you go back and change something? And I think that's the whole idea is, just because you can do a thing doesn't necessarily mean you should do a thing. And that's what the Doctor deals with in this episode. Or actually, you know what? It's not an episode. It is what they would call a serial. And it's got like a number of episodes to go through. And this is what I like about that era of Doctor Who, is that it's in small bites. So you can actually take a moment out, watch it, and you get the cliffhangers. And there's a cliffhanger every half hour. It's kind of like reading a really good novel. You can actually put it down at some point and pick it back up, and you're not tied in for a full hour of television or a full hour of whatever. So in this case, watching this episode is, like I said, it's not just a kind of It's a Wonderful Life kind of take, but there's also like the futility of war in here. I mean, you have to think that the Vietnam era of war was on people's minds, even in the UK, and so there was this whole thing about this war that's going on and that sort of thing. And it's considering the era and considering probably the budget that went into this, it's very well handled and very well done. Now, this is where we first see Davros. And Davros is a very interesting character in the fact that he is the creator of the Daleks. And it's interesting that the story here, again, it's the first time we see him. And there's a lot of of iconic lines that come out of this particular episode. But one of the things is, we obey no one kind of thing, and it's very interesting.
For some time, I have been experimenting with the Mark III project. Details and modifications will be distributed later. However, I am anxious that you should see immediately the remarkable results that I have achieved. And to that end, I have arranged this demonstration.
Very primitive, but undeniably a Dalek.
You're mistaken. It's a Mark III travel machine.
So the idea here is, like I said, you've got the episodes, and you've got, now one has to be reminded of the budgets at that time and the stuff and things that needed to be done. Now, music was a big one, and the music here is done by composer Dudley Simpson. Now, the thing is that he did several episodes of the Tom Baker era, and the one we're going to be covering is, of course, like I said, Genesis of the Daleks. But there was a release a number of years ago on silver screen that was specifically on the classic the Tom Baker era, and they dealt with 4 episodes: Genesis of the Daleks, The Brain of Morbius, the Ark in Space, and Planet of Evil, and Pyramids of Mars. So there's a whole bunch of episodes here. Now, the suites are short and sweet. The suites are short, but the music is effective. And Dudley Simpson, with the tools of the era, which, you didn't have huge amounts of money to throw around, I'm sure, with the show, and so you go with what is generally done, which was electronic music. And I've dealt with electronic music a couple of times in the past little while, but this is an interesting look. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look at some of the music of Dudley Simpson, and like I said, this is on a release from Silva America. Classic music from the Tom Baker era. Let's have a listen. So yeah, on this Doctor Who day, I just want to say, hey, happy 50th anniversary to the episode Genesis of the Daleks. And, folks, happy Doctor Who Day 2025. I hope that you are enjoying yourself immensely. I know I will be. You know what? It's funny. I have to ask, how the heck did Baker walk with this thing? Because it's so freaking long. Like, it's huge. I just alone, this is just a huge scarf. How did he do it? How did he do it? I'm watching the episodes and he's wearing this thing and is dragging on the ground and you can obviously see it. But the thing is, how did he do it? How did he do it? So if someone can answer that in the questions, I would love to hear that. If my furry companion were here, she would say like, share, and subscribe, and get out there and listen to some fantastic music. This stuff is still available out in the wild. If you can find it, definitely hold on to it. And if you're interested in any of the film, television, or video game music that I do play on my show, by all means, check out my show each week, Visions in Sound, 12 to 2 a.m. every Saturday morning on FM 98.5. And if you are so inclined and you miss and you miss my show, you can always catch it on my website, visionsinsound.ca. I'm on Blue Sky these days at visionsinsound.bsky.social. You can also catch me on many of the other podcatchers out there, but you can also try GoodPods, a downloadable app for your phone or other type devices. And I mentioned podcatchers. Yeah, you can try the different podcatchers out there to find me there as well, including the likes of Apple Music. So folks, I realize that it is a crazy world out there, and it's nice to be able to watch a little bit of Doctor Who and have a chance to sit back and enjoy the series. And it takes your mind off of things for a while. But you know what? If you're having trouble, by all means, you can dial 911 for immediate help. And you know what? Over in the UK, since this is going to be a Doctor Who special, dial 999 if you're having for immediate help. You can also try over here in North America 988. And it is the Suicide Crisis Helpline. You can also try 1-844-HERE-247 and HERE247.ca. They all offer ways of getting help if you or someone you know may be suffering from mental health issues. So yeah, Doctor Who. I love it. Love the Tom Baker era. Yeah, I know I've got the wrong screwdriver again, but I need to work on this to get us ready for next year. And you know what? It's going to be pretty cool. So have yourself a great day. Have a great Doctor Who day, and get out there and listen to some fantastic scores, some wonderful scores, because there are composers out there like Dudley Simpson who are worthy of your time. So have yourself a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Get this thing to work again. Come on. Here we go.
All inferior creatures are to be considered the enemy of the Daleks and destroyed.
No, wait! Those men are scientists. They can help you. Let them live. Have pity.
Pity. I have no understanding of the word. It is not registered in my vocabulary bank. Exterminate!
For the last time, I am your creator. You must, you will obey me.
We obey no one. We are the superior beings.